The United States has dismissed South Africa's case against Israel at the International Court of Justice over the war in Gaza. South Africa argues that Israel is committing genocidal acts in Gaza in the case filed at the ICJ last week. U.S. Department of State spokesperson Matthew Miller says the U.S. does not see any act that constitutes genocide. White House National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby also says the U.S. considers the case meritless, counterproductive, and completely without any basis. Israel rejected South Africa's genocide allegation, terminate baseless and blood libel.
Where does this put Washington and Pretoria in terms of
find
their
this
relations?
submission meritless, counterproductive, and completely without any basis in fact.
The Jewish Board of Directors in South Africa has condemned the act by the South African government on taking Israel to International Court of Justice. The board is warning South Africa that history would judge its actions without mercy and condemned the claims as absurd. Meanwhile, Israel has vowed to fight at the highest United Nations court, with its Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu also rejected South Africa's allegations, asserting that it was Hamas perpetrating genocide. According to Gaza's health ministry, over 22,000 Palestinians, mostly civilians, have lost their lives in Israeli strikes. Israeli officials say the attack by Hamas resulted in the death of about 1,200 people. Well, joining me on the news is President of SA Zion Federation, Avrom Krengel. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, Mr. Krengel, I hope you can hear me, and most importantly, we look forward to also ensure that we can hear you as well. But if you can, I'd like to ask you very quickly, can you explain why the Zion Federation in South Africa condemns the country's decision to actually file an application to the International Court of Justice regarding the alleged genocide in Palestine by Israel?
The condemnation is on two levels. One is this simply is not genocide. The word genocide connotes the worst human atrocities, such as the Holocaust in the Second World War, 6 million, the killing of 1 million in Rwanda, and atrocities of those nature. The war in Gaza at the moment, firstly, just the simple casualties are very small compared to real genocides. If you look even in the region, the Syrian civil war, which was perpetrated by al-Assad, as well as Russia and Iran, killed 500,000 people. So just simply on an objective level, this is not a genocide. And the use of the word genocide is actually an attack on the Jewish people, because we are a nation that experienced a real genocide. So it's a tactic that is used against Jewish people to use labels that they have experienced against them. So labeling Israel Nazis, committing genocide, it's simply unacceptable and frankly an embarrassment to us as South African citizens. But it also means that South Africa, who has played a constructive peacemaking role in various disputes and wars around the world, is now precluded from playing that role. Because once you've labeled one side a party of genocide, you simply take yourself out of any role that you could actually play to constructively bring this war to an end and bring the centuries-old conflict between the Palestinians and the Israelis to an end. And we are very disappointed with that, because that really is the only role that South Africa could play in this conflict, is as a peacemaker. We, through our own history, have resolved our own differences peacefully, and we've done the same in other areas of the world. And yet here in Israel, South Africa insists on demonizing Israel and exonerating Hamas, which itself, in a sense, killed, raped, mutilated, and murdered every single Israeli and non-Israeli, Jewish, Muslim, Christian that it encountered on the 7th of October, killing and massacring over 1,200 people that day. This truly is a travesty on on the part of South Africa and a desecration of our own history and human rights culture that we have in our country.
Well, like I said, truly a travesty. But what is the basis for the Federation's disagreement with South Africa's stance on addressing the situation in Palestine through legal channels?
Well, I think you first have to notice not a single other country in the world has taken this step. And you have to think why. And it is because this is an abuse of the very term genocide, of the very act of genocide. No other country, no matter how hostile to Israel, and there are many, have taken this preposterous step, because they are going to lose and they are going to embarrass South Africa once again. And all it does is show the animus, this hostility and hatred that they seem to have towards Israel, where their behavior as a country in every other conflict in the world, where they have not condemned a single atrocity, not in Syria, not in Darfur, not in the DRC, real conflicts that have killed hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people. There they refrain from condemning anyone, let alone taking them to the International Court of Justice, and instead state that they want to be part of the process of reconciliation and peacemaking. And yet when it comes to Israel, they have this absolute obsession for attacking Israel and denigrating Israel and delegitimizing Israel at every single step. And taking this matter to the ICJ is just the cherry on the top. It's just taking this strategy of attacking Israel to another level, and it will bring absolutely no assistance to the Palestinians. It will not help to resolve this conflict. And all it will actually do is delegitimize South Africa's peacemaking role in the world.
All right, let me see if I can quickly squeeze in one more question. Does the Zion Federation believe that the allegations of genocide in Palestine are actually unfounded or possibly exaggerated? If so, what evidence or arguments support this particular perspective?
So it is definitely not genocide. Israel has the capability. It's an enormous army. If it wanted to commit genocide, it's got the ability. But what it has done in Gaza is unprecedented. Its enemy, Hamas, has entrenched itself in the civilian infrastructure of the entire country. It is a parasite that lives off the Gazans. It has its installations in schools and homes, under babies' cribs, and then it has built the subterranean tunnel network 5 stories deep below it. So to try and eliminate Hamas, which has shown its intent to destroy Israel if it was ever had the chance, is one of the most difficult urban warfare scenarios that you could ever face. And it is in this context that, unfortunately, civilian casualties are high, but Israel is faced with no choice. It cannot live with Hamas in control of Gaza. And at the end of this war, it will benefit both Israelis and Palestinians to not have Gaza in control. And let's hope that this operation is closer to the end than the beginning, and that Israel can defeat Hamas and ensure the release of its over 100 hostages that are still held by Hamas in these subterranean tunnels that it has built over 16 years and used billions of dollars of aid that should have gone to the upliftment of the people of Gaza, and instead created one of the fiercest war-making machines the world has ever seen.
Well, very, very interesting conversation. Thank you so much, President of SA Zion Federation, Avrom Krengel. Thanks for joining us on the news.
Thank you very much.